So I went to one of those fake clinics because it looks like a real clinic and it was back in the day.
You don't see the cross just yet until you
walk in.
Yeah.
But when I was asking about abortion and the woman, in the fake lab coat and the whole thing, pretending to be a doctor.
It's the Blink-182 nurse.
Yes, 100%.
Her titties are out.
100%.
Hello. Oh my gosh, guys, I'm so excited to welcome back Lizz Winstead to the show. You're the woman we need to speak with right now.
Hopefully I will impart wisdom. I'm trying to
so much.
impart some things to the both of you. The youth, the 40-year-old youth.
Thank you.
Hell
Thank
yeah.
you so much.
Hell yeah.
Well, welcome. Yeah, it's been like almost a decade, I feel like, since you've been on the show. A lot has changed.
I know it was pre-COVID.
Yeah.
And I know that it was maybe during the first Trump running for office.
The good old days, really.
The good old days when I was sounding the alarm back then too.
Yeah.
Still thought Hillary was going to win.
Yeah, wearing pantsuits, cheeky, whatever.
Did you think Hillary was going to win the election?
I didn't. I was kind of no, because one of my big political things always has been that people on the left and all the way to traditional Democrats really don't understand the fight that we're fighting and who the real influencers are on the right who are doing the work and how much and who they profoundly hate, right? And so with Hillary, when I was watching the Republican back then, back in the old days, watching Jeb Bush get no numbers, right? And Jeb Bush was, granted, dull as dishwater.
Right.
But it was Clinton, Bush, the dynasty, right? So the exhaustion of just dynasty politics in and of itself should have been an indication. Really acing out Bernie and not having it be let's have this be a cage match so we can really get our person.
Right.
And having that coordination made people really mad.
Yeah.
And then lastly, I was watching because I was attacked by these people, right? So I had to find out who Ben Shapiro was and who Charlie Kirk was and who all these people were at the time because they were coming after feminists and people who were doing abortion work and all that stuff. And so we were trying to get traditional Democrats to be like, y'all, these people are influencing men. They're influencing people on the right. Okay. They're angry. And so I had a really...
you had a front row seat. You knew before everyone.
And I just was not trying to be Nancy negative, but I was are we ever going to learn who these people are? Because it's not just Fox News. It's not just...
It's more powerful than that.
Yeah. And
the
influencers.
Young. You didn't say the word influencer in 2014.
No.
I would have been confused if you said that word to me.
Totally.
But they were onto something. They were ahead of the curve.
They were ahead of the curve. And also they were just... Ben Shapiro was the #1 anti-abortion influencer in America back then. He famously, there's this thing that happens in Washington, D.C. every year, and you might go, oh, I didn't even know that happened, where 200,000 anti-abortion people gather over the anniversary of Roe v. Wade, and they have this massive thing called March for Life. It is huge.
Yeah.
And we've tried to get people to counter protest with us. We're 8 people there with our inflatable things, and it's super sad. So, you just see this wall of rage, right? And then you're like, yeah, really? Take your rosaries off my ovaries. Just so lame. So, and Ben Shapiro famously said, would you abort baby Hitler in 2015?
Right.
And it was not even baby Hitler. And it's wow, okay. So, it was just it's just a next level education that I think that we all need to make. I mean, when Charlie Kirk got murdered, I don't know how many friends you had, but I had a ton of people in my life who were I never heard of this guy
I was astonished.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
no.
Whoa.
I know. I was like, if you weren't familiar, like, and a lot of people on the left, I felt were using it as a bragging right. Like, this guy is insignificant. I go, number one, insignificant people aren't assassinated. And I was like, significance is not based on do you agree with the person. It's like, do they have influence? I was like, if you weren't, I have a political show. I was going over it on Turning Point USA talking points for years because they're crazy and you need to know about them. Like, that's part of your homework as a liberal to know what the Republicans and certainly the far right people are up to.
And who the influencers are. You know, something I highly recommend everybody listen to if you care about this stuff. If you don't, I'm so sorry. Cut it all out and we'll start over. But after the election, within the month of the 2024 presidential election, Charlie Kirk talked about the strategies for getting Trump to win. And Turning Point was instrumental in it. And he laid it out and he basically said, we did a whole bunch of polling early on to see exactly how much we needed to win, right? We needed about 3.5 points to bring people to our side to win.
Right.
That's independents, that's people who are apolitical, non-voters. So they solely focused on non-political or apolitical males,
smart,
18 to 34, not just white, but who were aggrieved, who felt, and they used feminism and immigration as the two things that were having them not succeed. Not the fact that they were unfuckables and sitting on couches and inarticulate and didn't have any kind of social skills or like hygiene apparatus, apparently. None of that. But it was just, and so they hammered that home. And so a couple things have happened in the, it was Joe Rogan, but then it became this rise of like Theo Vaughn and all these people. But the other thing that happened that was really fascinating over the course of the past 2 years is that the rise of men joining evangelical churches and women leaving because they offer a structural system that cannot be challenged. If you are joining an evangelical church and the rules are there's no marital rape, your wife has to succumb.
That's a rule?
Yes, in some of these larger churches, one family, one vote. They want to change it from repealing the 19th Amendment, repealing no fault divorce. Like it's a package that gives mediocre guys a kingdom that is not offered to them if they are not going to work for it. Right? Mediocre D gets a fiefdom.
And that's that's a brilliant plan.
It is.
It worked.
Oh, they know how to mobilize like no other group. It's really
unbelievable.
astounding.
They're good
to
with
watch.
strategy.
It is.
I've recently saw a video, and I don't know if you could speak to this, but the ties between Charlie Kirk's now widow and Donald Trump. Because when she was giving her speech, when she did the video, and then she gave her speech at the memorial, I'm like, is she the devil?
I like to call her Tammy Faye Faker because I don't know what's going on with her, but hello, lady.
She's possessed by a demon or something.
Yeah, well, she came up from Donald Trump's pageant world, right?
Yeah, right.
And then had that questionable, and there's been like fact checking and things around this, like. But there was controversy around this adoption agency that she had in
Romania.
Romania.
Oh wait, I didn't know about that. What? She had an adoption agency?
So my boyfriend's dad is Romanian, and a lot of these texts have been taken offline, and it's very hard to find them in English. So I had him on the case. I have to follow up on if he could help me find Romanian articles in Romanian about it and read them to me or like summarize them to me, because I tried to pull this. It's very hard to get the information that's been swept from the internet.
Right. And so I don't want to go too deep because I don't want to give a bunch of information that's not true.
That's good. That's good.
But the whole thing feels just really interesting. And, the thing about Charlie Kirk is he was fairly secular when he started his turning point journey. It was just sort of getting angry bro culture involved in politics. And then he had this religious epiphany along the way. I don't know who spoke to him and touched him because he was kind of incel-y.
Yeah.
And then Erica Kirk came into his life vis-a-vis Donald Trump. And now,
oh my God.
I'm as much as we're praying and we're hoping so desperately that there was a Bill Clinton blowjob in the Epstein files.
Merry Christmas to women.
I know,
if that
right?
is true.
I know.
wish.
I was so hoping this J.D. Vance and Erica Kirk are having an affair, and he's just going to drop the brown wife so that this one can be the first lady.
Yeah,
I'm also like looking at those weird things. So, I just think, and you look at these women, and just what Megyn Kelly recently said about, child rape and stuff. And you're like, well, the women who prop up the patriarchy and who literally give it cover and create paths to, are we honestly, folks, rebranding sexual assault? Is that honestly
That's what seems to be happening?
what's happening?
Yeah.
Because holy moly, Rocky, I can't.
Yeah. We're talking about the wrong thing.
Yeah.
And it seems like on purpose, and it's very weird.
But it's always the way, right? Like when it comes to sexual assault, man, like you should learn self-defense, or we should teach boys to not rape. That's easier.
Yeah.
But it's always putting the onus on all of this. And the weird thing that Megyn Kelly said, where she was like, and I'm paraphrasing here, but it was this bizarre statement of like, he likes barely legal, I believe is the term she used.
Yes.
Looking people who could also pass for younger, but also pass for adult.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't know what that
What do you
pass
mean?
for adult, baby Jane Hudson. Like
Yeah.
that's the only person I can think of with, so I don't know what she's talking about, but the whole thing is weird.
We were just looking up before you got here.
We were just talking about this, yeah.
There was a song, so we watched that video, you had it posted on your Instagram, and there was the song, She's Just 16 years old. Now, I used to love that song as a kid. I just thought it was a great melody.
Yes.
And then I grew up and I'm like, the fuck? The amount of songs that are about grown men trying to fuck a teenager.
Oh my God.
Jailbait by Ted Nugent.
Oh.
Explicitly about pursuing a 13-year-old girl.
Oh.
In 1981, Christine 16 by
Yep,
Kiss,
yep.
Sweet Little 16 by Chuck Berry, Happy Birthday, Sweet 16, Neil Sedaka, Girl, You'll Be a Woman Soon, Neil Diamond.
That one's really gross.
Bret Michaels wrote a song in 2015 called 15 about how he sexualizes 15-year-olds.
So
2015 is so recent.
So let me tell you. So I run an abortion rights organization called Abortion Access Front, and thank you.
Thank you.
Please. But every year we do a show in the Twin Cities called Do Re Mi Tu. And we have Minneapolis. I live part of the time in Minneapolis and part of the time here. Minneapolis has an incredible music community.
Oh, cool.
So all of these like femmes and queers and women, they have a house band. And then all these cool people sing all these horrible songs. And so everybody picks one, and then we talk about it. And I've got them into categories. Like there's stalking categories, and there's like all kinds of like, it's your fault I want to fuck you, and like just counting the days till you hit that calendar where I can just, like, it is so next level. And so it's really, because the thing is, it's like, just like you said, with that Benny Nardoni song, you're like, I sang that forever. If I could give you love, I'd lift you up and take you. And the video
So
for that
good.
song, by the way, put in your show notes, the video to that song, because he's literally outside this young girl's bedroom and she looks like she's been drugged.
Oh
and
my
then he takes her on a
God.
magic carpet and the whole thing is a mess. Yes.
No.
Yeah. And so, but when you hear how many songs and how much pop music has just basically just redefined us as weenie garages, let's be honest, right? And so it's like, and then you hear it all together, and then you're like, I like that, and it's catchy.
Right.
Like, how much does
Those
subliminal
It's
messaging?
like Republican influencers.
This is what I'm saying. Thank you for bringing it back, so I didn't have to.
Circle right around, baby.
Take it around.
And then you think of Britney Spears when she was
Yes.
16 years old. And I, as a 15-year-old, I'm like, she's so pretty. I'm doing the dance.
Yeah.
And then you watch her videos as an adult woman, and you're like, that's fucked up.
Yeah.
No one told her not to do that.
Yeah.
She was a child.
They definitely told her to do that.
Yeah.
Then you owe me money.
And they
Right?
made her sing like this, like a little girl. I'm like, oh my Christ.
I know. And you know what? It started like, think about like back in the old days when you read stories of like There's a really great book about the Wizard of Oz and how they treated Judy Garland, when she was so young, and keeping her on drugs to keep her awake because of the way that they just needed her to stay awake and we need to be on time shooting and everything. And, that led her down a path of just awful. And it's happened to us all the time. We're just commoditized to the point where sometimes there is no returning back. And then we're humiliated and demonized in the media for being mentally ill,
Do you think there's going to be a turning point? Not to
USA?
Quote Charlie. Yeah. Will there be a turning point for women in society?
That's a really good question. And I think it's twofold for me, right? It's kind of like every other country. We work with this really great organization called My Voice, My Choice. And they did this massive campaign in Europe, and they got the EU they're on the verge of passing a law that in any country in the EU that does not have access to abortion or it's illegal, those people will get paid to fly to where they need to get the care they need, which is incredible.
Wow.
And they were in the streets constantly. They're really inspiring. But I think it's incumbent upon all of us, and then people like me who has an organization. And what we do is, we offer all kinds of things that you can do to get involved. You can make aftercare packages for abortion patients. You can come with us on the road and help us support the clinic and the staff when they're just exhausted. Because in the states where we still have abortion, they're just inundated all the time with patients, and they have no time for breathers, for care, to take a minute. So we provide childcare for people and things like that. So, to be able to get involved so that also you're not just taking in information, you're taking in information. And then I believe heart-to-heart activism is the way to go. That's just my thing. It's how can I connect with somebody who is a provider or a patient and do something for them that sees their humanity and that they feel that another human being is watching out for them. Yeah. And you can do that whether it's walking immigration patients to their court cases, and even though that might end badly, there's somebody who is with them with emotion, whether that's abortion patients, whether that's people who provide care, all of that, right? So that's really important for me. And so I think incumbent upon organizations to not just say, give me your money, but give me your time is a really big thing. And then learning those programs so you can do it with your friends and incorporating it into your life. And then lastly, we need men to care about our humanity as though it is their lives depend on it, because it does. Feminism helps everyone. That is just the truth.
Men should care about women's humanity as if we're all hot 16-year-olds.
Yeah. Exactly.
That'd be so cool.
It would be really cool.
Well, feminism does help everyone, but the thing is now, because the branding on the right has been so strong, I feel like feminism has, even the word, you'll hear women being like, "Oh, I support other women, but I'm not a feminist," and that breaks my heart every single time. And so I feel like, fighting back sometimes only makes people who hate feminism stronger. And that's where comedy perhaps comes in, because
100%.
they've been so successful with weaponizing humor, And I, years ago, if you asked me if a joke is just a joke, I would have said yes. But my thoughts on that have changed, because the right has so successfully weaponized, especially banter on podcasts, is oh, we're just joking. And I'm like, you're just joking. It's a 3-hour monologue about how women are worthless. It's not really a joke anymore.
That's right. Also, when there is such an onslaught of misogyny that is seeking community that wants to believe that.
Yeah.
If you're joking about it, first of all, then what's the rest of your life doing to prove that you're joking about it? That's always my thing. It's oh, are you? So then where does it become such a glaringly obvious thing? Oh, it never does.
Yeah.
But you're giving fuel to that. I mean, we have a podcast that drops every Friday that talks about the week's news in reproductive care and abortion, and it's called Feminist Buzzkills for that very reason.
Perfect.
Because you can always and should always incorporate humor into your own storytelling if you can, because look, that's what we do.
It's all so fucked up.
It's all so fucked up.
How can you not?
Right. And going through hard things. And I also think just laughing with yourself, making other people laugh, having someone feel that visceral joy of uncontrollable laughter means you still have hope. It means that you're still feeling something. And I think that's really important to reflect every day, because browbeating somebody over the head to tell them you're fucked is terrible.
Right.
But highlighting behaviors that lead to why we're fucked and using humor to do it is, I think, really important. And then giving somebody the 1-2 punch of, oh my God, did we make you mad? Okay, here's something you can do. Like, to me, that's always like a thing. Because, when I was at the Daily Show and at Air America Radio, it was like the same thing where it's like, we don't have a call to action. And they would say, oh, you're not an activist. You're a comedy writer. You're a whatever. And it's like, but I also am an activist.
Yeah.
And so, but if they don't want me to.
Comedy writer is an
right.
activist.
Yeah. And so if they didn't want that to happen at the time, I was like, at first I would just get really mad and be kind of a bitch. And then I was like, you know what? This is never changing. It's corporate media. So you can make a decision to either get mad and probably not get your way and then just have people be mad at you, or understand your power and your talent and go make other things where you can do that. And so literally from the second I left that show back in whenever year it was, late 1990s, I just made things myself and hired the people I wanted to work with. And sometimes I had to have dude bosses, and that was not awesome, but for the most part, it was great.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think humor is how we actually convert people to.
Yeah.
I think the humor, I've heard jokes, I've heard like over the years, like jokes that you could say are sexist by male comedians that are so funny, like I'm mad I'm laughing, which I personally as a comic love those jokes because I like when my comfort level is pushed and like I have to contemplate it. But I think that owning what is actually happening and how it's murdering women and how it's so disrespectful with a punchline is how you get, like, I wish so much that Hillary's campaign and Kamala's campaign, I'm like, why don't you guys have stand-up comedians writing for you?
Right.
This is insane because there's so many areas that these dickheads can pick you apart for dumb shit that doesn't matter, and they're going to, and you know that. Get ahead of it. Like, when Nikki Glaser goes up there and roasts a motherfucker, I'm like, she owns people that she roasts. And that is how you assert political dominance and make I want to make those dipshit men mad that they're laughing because this joke was so fucking funny about how women are fucked.
Yeah.
I think that's so key.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I worked on the pilot for The Man Show.
Oh
with
my
Jimmy
God.
and Adam.
Wow.
Yeah. And so, and I wrote a bit that was like, I had Jimmy and Adam if you've been to Los Angeles, there's an open air shopping place called The Grove.
Hell yeah.
Okay.
Been there many
so
times.
they had a table set up at The Grove, and they wanted people to sign a petition to end women's suffrage. They're like, women are suffraging. And people are like, isn't it terrible? And they'd come and they'd sign up, and they were like, it's awful. It's awful. And it was like, I was like, okay, I'll do that satire stuff. But then it was like, oh, there's women on trampolines. I think I'll just do the pilot. And I feel like I'm out of here. I feel like we're done.
Corinne and I, we made a pilot called it was The Woman Show that was based off of that.
Because we were so inspired by The Man Show.
We were. And we had
we need this.
biting bits that like kind of tricked men into admitting they were dumbasses.
Yeah.
The network didn't like it. I wonder why.
Shocking.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure it's also, too, with The Man Show, I don't think ever once they said, let's just take a step back here and just see, like, how are we going to broaden the audience? Will women think this is funny? Where I don't know how many times you've ever written something and someone said, but are men going to also like this?
God.
And I was I don't know.
And I wasn't really thinking about that at the time, nor do I care.
No, it's not my point of view. Turns out I walk the earth not as one.
Yeah.
So I don't write as one. I don't write from the perspective of one. And
so funny.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's what we were talking about like not too long ago on this show is that like, it's not that women comedians, it's certainly not that we're less funny. I truly think it's that men are disinterested in the female experience.
Yeah.
And and that's it. And there's really, it's
that
whole
simple.
thing.
It really is that simple. I've been doing punch-ups for my lines for this musical that I'm in. And one of the guys that was working on the show said, you know what I love about those jokes you put into the script? They're funny to both men and women. I'm like,
I'll fight them.
Well, also it's like, I'm really glad that should be the way it always is. If it's funny, why can't men laugh at the female experience is a question that, or why doesn't it occur to people that they can?
Yeah.
And, I'm hoping that that's changing. When I look at Maria Bamford, who I think is maybe the greatest comedian living today, and how she brings the layers of experience. And it's incredible. So, yeah, but I also just don't care.
But you also have women like Sarah Silverman's recent special where her joke, I think it was the most recent one, where her joke about the abortion protesters, if you're going to have a fetus on the sign, on your protest sign, make it the actual size of a fetus.
That's such a good
so
joke.
that you're screaming up and down for this little speck of cells. And I'm like, I know if a man saw that joke, they'd be like, that's fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
And that's a good point. But I'm like, I don't know. Men still don't want to listen to women.
Also, her joke,
Not
abortion
all.
kills your whole day, is also just such a good
one.
joke.
That's a really good one.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, even like, because this is, we talk a lot about, dating relationships on this show. One of the criteria for a partner that I had never previously considered, but then I got it and I was like, oh, this obviously has to be like the number one thing, was that if you're dating men, dating a man who has thought about what it's like to live as a woman. Like I have that, and it never crossed my mind because I guess I never had been on the table before, which is like so sad. But it's like, it's a glaring difference that I have found. I don't know if you are dating or in previous relationships. Have you ever dated a man who you felt really had thought what it was like to live a day in a woman's shoes? Ever?
I don't know if I've ever dated a man who wondered about that, but I would say the lion's share of the men that I've dated have fully welcomed the shoes I chose to walk in.
That's beautiful.
And so, like not finding me, it's a double-edged sword.
Sure.
So it was like, oh, you love that I'm a stand-up. You love that I'm strong. You love that I have opinions. You're really happy about that. You'll bring me out anywhere. You're psyched. But then I did a lot of the strong person heavy lifting in the relationship.
Right.
So then when I am also a person. And so sometimes I will have vulnerabilities. And then it was like, oh, wait, I didn't sign up for this. And it was like, no, you did. You signed up for the whole package. So now you have to understand what this package is and then work that out. But I do think that's a good, I do think that's a really good thing to think about, only because it's all of that shit is sometimes, not all of it, but so much of it is micro, where it's just like how much you just subconsciously look at the landscape of where you're walking and decide which side of the street you're going to walk on. How much of what subway stop you go into because of, that, all of the things that we navigate just so we can mitigate harm. Mm-hmm. And the thing that's such a mess about that is it's almost a false narrative to think you can mitigate harm.
Sure.
And so you take up so much emotional space worrying about that. And then at the end of the day, you really don't ultimately have the control over that anyway. When you look at statistics of violence, and it mostly happens in the home and all that, all the other stuff.
Sleep.
Exactly. So, but I do think that that's such a good conversation starter just to hear too, what, not only are they thinking about it, what do they think it means to do that? Which also can probably get guys out in a second, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a good litmus test. How did you find that out? Did he tell you or did...
No. I pointed it out. He was just like, when I would bring things to him or we would have conversations and I could tell from his responses. I said, this is... And I pointed it out and he's very I don't hate the word humble, but I feel like he's very humble about it. but I'm like, oh, this is just going to go into my list of criteria that is absolutely necessary. If this
going forward,
if we don't stay together, going forward, this is an absolute must. Before that, it was just must like yourself.
I know.
Which already becomes almost impossible to find a partner just based on that.
But even when you look at I'm a childless by choice person.
Yeah.
And when you look at how many women are still doing the lion's share of just how you manage a household and child and
holidays are a
care.
great example.
Yeah.
Because when I hear people say that's not, it's getting more equal. Who puts together the Christmas?
Yeah.
Who does the Thanksgiving?
Yeah.
You cut the turkey? Okay, yay. Who sets the
good for
table?
you.
Who plans everything? Who invites people? we still have the majority of the responsibilities.
Well, did you see that viral video? I guess it was maybe like last year of the mom who filled all the stockings and then her stocking didn't have anything in it. And everyone goes, and then they're like, why doesn't your stocking have anything in it? She goes, well, I fill everyone else's stockings. I'm not going to fill my own. And no one even thought to fill mom's stocking. That was like a big, that caused a big problem on the internet. And like, but a necessary conversation, you know? You go, man, this is rough.
Well, and I always say too, like, when looking for a partner, like, choose somebody who can cook. And the reason I say that is because A, obviously, but B, process teaches patience. It teaches like togetherness with somebody. It's a skill that brings you to from point A to point B in a way that you understand how long things take, and that when you put effort into something, it's better. And sometimes things take a long time, because then when you understand that, that just goes out into the world.
Right.
Process of how a bill gets passed. Well, what are we actually doing here? Patience in traffic, like all of that kind of thing. Somebody just develops patience when they literally learn knife skills.
Also, it's like how when you meet a 35-plus-year-old man who can't cook, you're like,
what have you been doing?
How are you taking care of yourself?
Yeah, your sodium levels are a mess. Clearly type 2 diabetes.
I'm not in for that hypertension in our future.
It is just set
I feel
out.
like your radar for choosing men in romantic circumstances or sexual circumstances is pretty good. Has a fuckboy ever snuck past you and like tricked you?
Yeah, I've had a couple of fuckboys, and and I think it was early on in my comedy career when I was choosing men who were like cool with what I did, and I was on the road 30 weeks a year.
Right.
And so then it was like when I was in town again, they were not like participating in, hey, I'm back. Did you make any plans for when I'm back? Nope. And also I felt like I have such a full sense of who I want around me, and I always have.
That's nice.
And even in comedy, I never wanted to live in a comedy town, and I lived in LA for 6 years, but I always wanted to make sure that my life was really full of all sorts of different kinds of people, so that the things I was talking about were actually fulfilling to me and relatable. And so, and when you don't want kids, you really
that's for sure.
weigh out like inseminator, like what's my tolerance for you if you're going to literally be attached to me on some level for the rest of my life. So I think I was able to make those decisions just based on, also I have a keen sense of my masturbatory processes and my toys and my things. So I am taken care of by my friends, by my family, and when I'm in relationships. But sometimes I think I've had fuckboys who, and to me, like the biggest thing is, do not waste my time. Like I was in a relationship for like 3 years with somebody who I love dearly. It was like a much younger person. And I was like, this relationship is a relationship that I know is temporary and here and now and great. But like, you can't be late. Like, don't come over to my house like when you feel like it, because I have things to do and I'm irritated. Yeah. And he was poly and I was not. And he's like, but I'm poly and I think you really have a problem with that. And I go, but I have no problem with that. I do not give a fuck. You are not my Mr. Forever. I don't have a Mr. Forever, but my Mr. going to be here at 8. Be here at 8. That's my problem with
He's
you.
poly. His calendar's full.
Your calendar's
so
full.
busy.
Yeah, I know. So many poly people. Like you've got to be able to.
Poly.
They do.
They love it.
And it's also men with the worst time management. Oh my God! It's like you just want to parse out where you get your weird other needs.
Yeah.
And then it's so dumb. I mean, like, bless you if you can do it clear. But,
sure.
Yeah. So but my first relationship with somebody who was creepy and abusive, and I got pregnant the first time I ever had sex too in high school.
Right, I remember you told me that the first.
I think, So that was kind of just a shit show because you're Catholic and you're like, well, if I use birth control and have sex, I'm committing 2 sins. So what if I fuck and don't use birth control? That seems like a good plan. And that guy was really awful and trying to get out of that. But the good news was, even then, I was like, as I don't know what my process is going to be when I have this abortion because I never really thought about it. But I mean, I thought about it theoretically because I was told. But I was like, I will never lose this person if I don't have an abortion. And that's all I knew.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't think of anything else other than I can't be saddled to somebody who I don't know how to escape. And escaping with a child seems terrible.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm out of here. Yeah.
And it was the abortion you got legal?
Yes.
Oh, it was. Wow.
Yeah. It was. But here's what's so interesting. So, yeah, abortion was made legal in 1973, and this was in 1978. But here's what was so I went to one of those fake clinics because it looks like a real clinic and it was back in the day.
You don't see the cross just yet until you
walk in.
Yeah.
But when I was asking about abortion and the woman, in the fake lab coat and the whole thing, pretending to be a doctor, said, I asked about abortion.
The Blink-182 nurse.
Yes, 100%.
Her titties are out.
100%.
Hello.
And she was like, abortion's against our law. And like, I didn't know the laws, right? I didn't know if it was legal or not.
Oh,
and
she said
our law, right? So I was like,
Bitch.
what does that mean? And in hindsight, I was like, oh, our law, I'm thinking the law, I'm putting her in danger. She's going to report me. I'm fucked. I signed a thing. And as we now know, as we are, again, just like part of our work at Abortion Access Front is we try to expose these. We have a whole website. It's called Expose Fake Clinics. And, they're not real places that provide medical care. You could have pregnancy tests here and STD tests here, and any rando can run an ultrasound machine. And it's perfectly legal to cosplay medicine if you don't actually provide what is considered medical care. If you don't do a pap smear, if you don't do any of that, if you do that, you have to tell the truth.
Oh, Jesus
Interesting.
Christ.
So-
if you don't do a pap smear, you don't have to tell the fucking truth.
Or you're not prescribing medicine, right? So,
And no one's thought to create any laws to stop this?
well,
Or-
here's, could I make you even matter?
Yes.
Yes, please.
Okay, good. So, tried. So we went to the Supreme Court in 2017 with a case that said, look, if you're going to be a fake clinic and, wear the lab coats and not really have doctors, you should have to post that.
Yes.
Right?
Sure.
And you shouldn't be able to say, by the way, abortion causes breast cancer and
That's false medical
false
information,
medical information, breast cancer, sterilization, mental illness, all this stuff. And the Supreme Court ruled what I just said, which is if they aren't providing actual medical care, they have the First Amendment right to say whatever they want in that setting. And so the settings themselves are just so incredible. Like, you'll sometimes walk in and they'll take your coat and your phone and your clothes and put you in a gown. It's not, you think you're in a medical place. So now they've got all your stuff and you can't contact somebody. You can't get out. And then they will give you an ultrasound. And again, it's just somebody doing an ultrasound on you who learned how to run the machine.
Tech, yeah.
And they'll say either, oh, you're good. You're like 6 weeks. You have time to make your decision. Why don't you come back in a month and we'll talk again? But you're really 12 weeks. And so waiting that month means, yeah. Or they'll go the opposite way where you're really far along and they're just like, too bad, So it's, so now we have a Supreme Court case actually coming up in December.
Nice.
That is basically saying, we're a fake clinic. We feel hamstrung that we can't do medical services and lie. So we want the Supreme Court to rule on giving us full gyno rights. Because the one thing that has slightly saved us is that they can't provide medical care and lie. So will the Supreme Court let them tell their lies and then also provide medical care, which is really scary.
That
to
is
be able to go
scary.
get pap smears and to go get wellness visits and to have somebody the whole time lying to you because let's take it out of abortion.
Well, I was
and
going to
let's
say
go
other
to
doctors can do
period
that.
apps. Let's go to all this other shit because,
Right.
that shitbag Peter Thiel just funded a period app with a
Are you serious?
with a crazy, there's this magazine. If you want to go down the rabbit hole on Instagram, don't follow it. Just go down the rabbit hole. It's called Evie. EVIE.
Oh, I'm very
Yeah.
Wait, that's fake? I've heard of that.
It's a magazine, but it's kind of like the
Yeah.
trad wife alt-right L.
Yep.
And so they will lure you in with like Met Gala outfits. And then it's like hormonal birth control is going to kill you. You know, IUDs, you can contact
This has been my number
Martians.
one passion for several years, where I just consistently talk about how the birth control pill, specifically in my case, how amazing it is.
Yes.
And please stop taking in all this false information on Instagram and TikTok about how it's the end of your life and society.
Well, we did a whole breakdown on our podcast last week all about this whole ugly merger of Peter Thiel and this magazine.
Can you break this out? So Peter Thiel's funding an app. What the fuck is his?
So he's yes.
How can we control women?
Who needs a billionaire MAGA gay guy?
He's gay?
Yes.
Whoa. All right. Tim Dillon and
to be funding, but because it's all about again. You know what? I don't want women to have any power. And I'm going to create this disinformation machine. And the shit that they say, it is next level. And it's this whole women's magazine that's glossy and whatever that just centers men and then false information around birth control, dating, partnering, why you're alone.
Guy want to do that?
Because, you know, any woman, any women.
That's my catchphrase.
Yes.
Now.
Because women are out there and, you know, also we find them out. Doesn't matter. You're right. Gay men are still men. So it's a mess. So, you know, but it's just like all of that kind of stuff where you're like, how do we gain control? And so participating in exposing them. So the cool thing about the fake clinics is we have a database of where we're constantly looking where they are at, but we have a database of 95% of them. And you can simply write Google reviews of these fake clinics because they own SEO, right? When you Google where's the closest abortion clinic to me, it's like Nancy's Birth Center. It's like the first thing that comes up and you're like, okay, what?
Jesus.
So we tell people, like, if you go there, like, have these review parties, because if you don't write like snarky shit, because the organization can take it down, but interact with their website.
Okay.
Call them and simply ask if they provide abortion care, because
they have to say no, right? They can't lie to you and say they do.
That's exactly right. Or what they'll try to do is say, why don't you come in and we'll talk about your options and things like that. So if you push and say, I just want to know, I'd love to talk to somebody about my options, but I want to know if you're going to give me information about abortion when I come. And they have to at some point say no. So we have all this information that you can say and ask and things like that. And when you scour the website, eventually hidden in there is where you can find at the very bottom on page 5 of clicking through. We don't provide support. But if you just write that as a review, it says, if you're looking for abortion care, this place does not provide it for you and won't refer you.
Okay.
Right? So
that can't get taken down.
Nope. And then when people upvote on that, which just means liking it.
Yeah.
You know, if you're a vulnerable person and you typed in, where's the closest place near me? You know, that's the third thing you see. They won't provide care. You're like, I won't go there. Right? It helps people at least not go there until we can have sanity in our world where why should you be able to lie to people? But then we have RFK who is just like, what are you even doing?
Right.
So, you know, he's like, there's abortions and vaccines. It's like, this guy.
God. Just shut the fuck up.
I know. I'm waiting to hear him say the sound of Rachel Maddow's voice causes autism. Like, he's just going to take you down the path.
Now, are there volunteers ever stationed outside these fake abortion clinics with like information, or do we not have enough?
Yeah, so
I'll volunteer for that.
So we have done that, where we've literally done the same thing they do to us,
right?
And
Perfect.
And it's really, really powerful.
And you can't leave. They can't ask you to leave if you're on a public
moving on a sidewalk. Yeah, you're not blocking the door.
Yeah,
it's the same thing, and because the communities half the time it's white Christian nationalist women running them in neighborhoods of color, black neighborhoods, brown neighborhoods, poor neighborhoods. God. So just giving disinformation to communities they don't live in. And we've had like a lot of success where they try to send the cops on us, and it's like, and then we've gone in, done reconnaissance where we went in, sent somebody in and got their literature, and then like a few weeks later gone back out, and then we have their literature, and we're like, you lie to people and say this. No, we don't. And it's like, this is inside your place.
Right.
And they're like, yeah. So yeah, there's all kinds of ways. And they have, this is the even creepier part. They also have vans, mobile ultrasound vans.
Stop.
What?
Swear to
Stop,
God.
Liz.
So they'll drive the vans around to college campuses, or they'll park like across the street from a real clinic. And they'll be outside the van. Imagine, what did your mothers all tell you? Do not get into a van with strangers.
Yeah.
So now you've got a middle-aged man being like, do you want to come and get a free ultrasound in my van?
Oh my God.
Okay, Lewis Carroll.
Right?
Oh
Or they'll say it like, you have to come into the van before you go into the thing. So if the clinic doesn't have somebody stationed out.
In the van?
Yes. Pre-check-in in the van.
Jeez.
It's like, yeah. But so, the vans are really
Why
next
are
level.
people embarrassed about lying? If I lied to people knowingly to their face, I wouldn't be able to sleep at night.
Right.
And I really even still try to comprehend how, like, even Carolyn Levitt, all these motherfuckers, I'm like, how do you look yourself in the mirror and are even 1% proud of what you do? How do you're not a person. Are you out of your body?
That's what it feels like sometimes to me. It's like, are you just out of your body and just say
It must be. Yeah.
I feel like sometimes people have convinced themselves that their end goal is more important than like the
truth.
pathway that it takes to get there. So if the pathway includes lying, well, that's okay. We have this ultimate goal that is more important
They're
than
self-righteous.
anything that we have to do along the way, and we will do it by any means necessary.
Yeah.
It's fascinating.
And then
the
using
women
Jesus.
the women that are anti-choice.
Yeah.
I'm just like, I hate you more than the men about that. Cause like you knew. You know what it's like. You know what it's like to be a woman. Fuck you.
Also, the disregard of childbirth. Like, it's just...
Like it's just easy.
Right.
Some easy, more people die in childbirth than like a lot of other things, right? It's way less... Abortion's way safer than having children. And just to act like you're potting soil and you've got some extra time to just do this horrible thing that's really hard.
Yeah.
It's astounding to me, really. Yeah.
And I really feel for so many women now, especially with these laws. Our conversation with Jessica Valenti was so eye-opening because she reported back to us about young women she was speaking to who were punished by these laws. These women that are that so badly want a baby and that have miscarriages and that are being punished for their miscarriage, go to fucking hell and never come back. Like, you should be in prison for life. You're a waste of space. You're a waste of oxygen. You're a waste of water if you think that.
And they're creating, these, in some states, they're trying to pass laws where you have to have a catch kit for your miscarriage. So if you have
Stop it.
If you have a miscarriage, you have a catch kit and you have to bring it to the police.
In a net?
It's like a kit that you would...
A catch kit is who named that? First of all?
Someone terrible.
A man.
Yeah.
A catch kit.
Yeah,
it's
but
not
like
baseball.
call law enforcement if you have, a miscarriage. It's like 1 in 5 pregnancies end in miscarriage. And you have miscarriages in toilets, and then people try to flush their toilets because it's like,
It's a toilet.
what am I going to do? And I just had a miscarriage, and then something happens and they're reported. And, the staggering number of healthcare providers who will report people who will come in having miscarriages because have racial bias.
Oh,
so
boy.
there's somebody will come in and said, I've had a miscarriage, and they're like, I'm sus of your miscarriage. And so, and whenever we talk about medication abortion, it's always important to let people know that I have to say it exactly this way, according to the WHO and the CDC websites, you cannot detect medication abortion in your body if you take it orally. So if you take medication abortion and you're feeling complications, apparently you can go to the emergency room and just tell people you are having a miscarriage. You do not have to say that you took any medication.
But if it's transvaginally, it can be detected.
Yes, it can be detected.
Now, there was a recent, Corinne and I both got a DM from this young woman who lived in a state where abortion is illegal, and she was asking us to mail her abortion pill. We were there 15 years ago, 50 years ago, and we're back. Where, does Abortion Access give people places to turn to for abortion medication by mail?
Yeah, Abortion Access Front, it's really great. So on our website, we have a little thing called Charlie Chatbot, and Charlie is connected to all these really cool organizations, and you can ask any question. about how to access care, how to get funding for your care, and where to get your care. We also list like Plan C pills and Women on Waves, Women on Web.
Oh, Women on Waves.
Yeah.
Great organization.
And there's a lot of organizations that will help folks provide that care. So yeah, we're definitely purveyors of information. We are not dispensers of abortion medication, but we're definitely drive people to exactly where they need to go.
Yeah, that's amazing. You're really doing amazing work with that.
Yeah.
How has your experiences been like on the ground volunteering for these types of things?
So what's really fun is how we sort of do our volunteer work is, and you both got to come out when we go out next year.
I really want to because
So
I used to be worried I'd be too mad if I saw a man protesting a woman getting an abortion. I'd probably be in jail. But now I think I can handle it.
Yeah. Well, also they'll be at the shows because they love that. They follow us around. So what we do is it's kind of like a cross between a USO tour and Habitat for Humanity,
That's
right?
Great.
And so we travel and do shows, and within the show, it's like comedy music. And your comedy act doesn't have to have politics at all. You just have to do comedy. And then I do a conversation with the local activists and the local providers in that town. So we mix it all up. So it's like music and comedy and some conversation. And then the local people have tables where our audience can go learn about that stuff. And then the second part of it is we do some reconnaissance in advance. So we talk to the clinics and we talk to the escort teams and we talk to the people who do funding for abortion, like abortion funds. And we say, what do you got? What do y'all need? And the clinics might say, we haven't been able to get our fence fixed because if we call a place and they know we do abortions, they won't come. Or if they want to come and they park their van in front of our spot, the van, some church will go protest that company and they're screwed.
Yeah.
So they tell us what they need. We do what we can as a group. We'll paint walls, we'll fix fences, we'll mow lawns, we'll plant gardens. We do all kinds of that. And then we tell the audience what we did, and then they talk about what kind of sustaining needs they have. And 90% of the time, someone in the audience has a business or knows somebody who has a business that does that. And then we hook them up so that they have sustaining people who help them. And it's really...
it's beautiful.
It's really great. And so... But the craziest part of that is, so we've been doing this for years. And every time you travel to a place, you... meet the escorts who are outside of the clinics, asking people to come in. And they're telling you stories of all these protesters, right? And they know them by name and they know their families. And so we were, it's wild, right? And so we were like, has anybody started a database just of who these people are? And no one had. So we started this database. And then we realized we'd be in like Jackson, Mississippi, and they'd be like, this guy lives here. And then we'd travel to Birmingham, Alabama, and the guy would be there too.
Just no job.
Just like no job, just like abortion, harassment, tourism. So then we're like, okay, we got to find out where these people live. So my old managing director, and I'll tell you why she's not old, former. And I'll tell you why she's former in a minute because it's a really good story. So she was like, we're going to start a database. Right? We're going to collect this stuff. And her name is Kat. I'm not going to tell you her last name because that's also going to come in later. But so Kat started collecting this database. And we started getting photographs and we started filming them when we go on the road and stuff like that. And we ended up with the largest database of anti-abortion extremists in the country.
Wow.
So Kat's dad was this wild conspiracy theorist, but not like the old guard kind, like, did we land on the moon? Who shot JFK guy, right?
Oh, cute conspiracy.
Cute.
Innocent.
So when he died, she found out that he had like 6 different Facebook handles.
Oh.
And so she converted those Facebook handles and joined people's churches. And then other people on my team, we all have several fake Facebook accounts. And we don't troll them. We just find out what they're doing, what are their moves, so that when we know they're planning a rescue at a clinic where they chain themselves to the clinic or something, we can give the clinic a heads up.
Rescue.
And we can get somebody there to film.
Rescue.
A rescue. Called a rescue.
So
yes.
stupid.
So about 2 weeks before January 6th, we saw all these rumblings in all these churches. We're going to go to D.C. for the Stop the Steal rally. We're going to go. So Kat assigned all of us to monitor certain people.
Interesting.
And then we followed them to January 6th. We pulled all of their shit of storming the Capitol and stuff, and we reported 30 of them to the FBI.
Oh my God, you have such a fun life.
So Kat was like, I need this to be my full-time job. I don't want to, and I was like, fair. So Kat spun off.
Wow.
And has an organization called Ab0rti0n, where she now is full-time helping folks collect dossiers and data and doing all of that.
I want to talk to her because I've been talking for such a long time on the show.
Yeah.
She's on Ab0rti0n is on Instagram, but I will give you, she'll come on and as not, maybe she probably can't say who she is, but she'd be glad to talk about all the shit. She's great.
Because I from the start of Guys We Fucked, so we've been doing the show for 12 years, the amount of emails we get about sexual assault is just through the roof. It always has been, always will be. And I have a lot of very close personal friends that are, one recently that is affected by a man who's an absolute fucking monster. And I've been in touch with all these women that have said that he raped them too. And I'm like, why don't we have a database? And we could just say alleged, and we could just say, this isn't for a court. I just want women to avoid these motherfuckers.
Yes.
I don't want them to ever get pussy ever again. They don't deserve it. They deserve to be fucking sterilized. But I wonder if you can make a database about that.
Well, here's the thing.
Alleged rapists.
I'll hook you up with
Please do. Because I will put the time and energy into. I already have a system of verification in my head, but I need to talk to somebody else who's done a database of sorts.
And she also knows how to keep you safe and clean. She's helped me erase myself from all places where people can't. Because I have 2 homes, and I don't want anyone to know where I live because
have
people
tried to.
Yeah, people are scary.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And, especially if you have any kind of platform and they're like, oh, you're corrupting the minds of the young by getting them active and having them buck this patriarchal system. You must, you're horrible.
That's just the hypocrisy in, wait, you think abortion should be legal? Kill and rape her.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So that's okay?
Yeah.
Is that okay?
It's really wild. But here's the cool part. So, here's a good story about men.
Yay, I love that.
I'm going to tell a good story about men.
I would love one.
So a couple of years ago, I have a friend in Chicago who's a musician. He plays in a bunch of bands. He's like a pickup guy who's in a bunch of bands. And he's good friends with the actor Michael Shannon.
Mm-hmm. Love him.
And they do this REM tribute band. That's and great. It's really fun. They do record, starting with the first record they launched, and it's an all-star band full of really cool people. Whoa. And they travel the country. And they make a special tour poster that's for the record they're doing, and they give all the money to us. So that's what they did the first year. They just made a poster. Jason said, this is going to these people. Here's what they do. Then the second year, last year, he was like, I want you to have table at every show and have a local clinic at every show. And then you can get up on stage and tell people what you guys are doing between the first side and the second side. And then we'll drive people to the table. And this year, we're just going to go with them everywhere and do it. But they're so cool. And they're they did it right. They organized it. They didn't make us do anything. They asked us to be present in their show. It was wow, more of you, please.
Yeah, seriously.
But it was really cool. So that's a good dude show. So if you go to the REM shows, if you're REM fans and you're going to go to the REM cover band shows, you'll see a table there with us. Come say hi. Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. So good man story.
I love that. I have to I need to remind myself constantly because I have a lot of men in my life that are wonderful and lovely and do think about these things. It's just, the minority.
I know. And it's also that whole weird thing where it's there's never a news report, cat not in tree. So it's kind of people are but I don't do that. I was great, then this isn't about you.
And,
right.
and
exactly.
Continue being awesome.
Exactly.
Yeah. And so many of them that are they want to be fuckable so bad. So there's a group of men that want so badly to be fuckable. And it's so simple to just be curious about a woman's life and to care about these causes and to have a genuine curiosity is just, you wouldn't think it's that hard. But.
No, I think it's harder to live. And this is the thing, I am older. I'm 64. And so when I look at the systems that were in place for my parents, right? And I looked at my dad working and coming home and drinking and falling asleep on the couch and not participate. It's that's what you're asking. Like not having a partnership that everybody can raise the kids and participate in and have full like lives means that you have too high of expectations on both people and your life isn't full. This is why when we go back to feminism is good for everybody, it means that you actually get to have fulfilling lives with your kids and your partner and your work and flexibility to literally introduce joy the way you see joy, not the way society has decided you get to have joy and downtime and everything else. And so it just makes me so angry when I think about how exhausting that is, when if they just embraced equality, it would
We would all have so much more fun.
and you would get laid more.
And you would get fucked. You would be enriched.
Yeah.
You would be excited about your life. You would think about things in a different way. All your cells would be alive if
Yes.
you allowed yourself that.
100%.
And it's just a fucking choice.
I know.
It's crazy.
And it's the foundation, dudes, that like dudes set. So you can't blame feminism. Blame yourselves because we didn't set up the system.
Yeah.
Y'all did.
Yeah.
You steward yourself in the system. Be mad at you.
Right. And then just assume there would never be any rebellion from us.
Right.
You would never say, this doesn't seem fair. It seems like other people are having a better time than us.
Right. Well, and also when they realize that like they could be intellectually paralyzed just by us challenging that machismo and just their physical stature wasn't enough to like run things. Like you're intellectually paralyzed by somebody challenging your system. Then that's where it was like,
That's a problem.
yeah, that's a problem.
That's a
We
big
got to dumb
problem.
that shit down.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I know.
So we have to wrap up soon, but I think like I wanted to go back to what we were talking about before we hit record, which was, we recently received an email that was like, 40s are going to be a medical nightmare for you with perimenopause and menopause. And so just as someone who is 64, what are the next 20 or so years can have in store? Things that we should know? Give us a heads up. What are your thoughts as an intelligent and woman with a big life?
So here's the thing. So, our bodies betray us.
Facts.
This is true.
Right.
So just like prep for the body betrayal because there's ways to like get around it. Like, so when we were talking and did I talk about the,
Vagina caving in?
the vagina caving in? Yes. But did I talk about putting makeup on too?
No.
That
you
the
did.
sweat. You go
But
into
was
flames.
that before we were recording?
I don't think we were recording yet, right, Eric?
No, we weren't.
Okay.
No.
So like, as your hormones start getting out of control and you have flop sweats, you got to give yourself another 30 minutes because the second you're ready to go out the door, you're going to burst into flames and your makeup's going to melt and you're going to have to do it again. So like give yourself the time.
When did this start for you, if you don't mind asking?
No, that's okay. I was like I had perimenopause like in my late 30s into my early 40s. And I was just I felt like I was just really sort of a spiral monster. Like I was really ragey.
Right, 'cause I was like, what did that even look like?
The woman who emailed us
Yeah.
was saying the same thing.
And it's because you're having hormone spikes. So make sure you're in therapy. Like get a therapist to really talk about it. And realize with your hormone spikes, exercise is really key.
Yeah.
Like, do that time to assess, realize what you need in your downtime because your hormones are raging. You're peaking oftentimes in where you want to be in life. Career-wise, it's really going well. You're also at your sexual peak.
In mid-40s?
In your mid-40s is when
Really?
oh my God, you don't have any idea this is the best part. It is coming.
Yay.
Take a younger partner.
I've been saying that for years.
You know what? That's my plan, man.
Take
That's
a
my
younger
fucking
partner
plan.
because
My boyfriend's not born yet.
yeah, you're kind of like in this place where it's like, where do I, if you're not hooked up already, I mean, I'm talking about myself now. This is just what I did. I was like, because marriage was never kind of like
Never interest you.
not yet. When you don't have kids, you reevaluate everything, right?
Marriage is a hard sell.
Marriage is a hard sell. So
For women.
So it's kind of like, set boundaries, take people who you're going to have sex with and have fun and like do it when you want to, and then save your like primo adulting time for the people in your life who give you the most fun, the people you want to travel with, the people that you want to be with, eat with, talk with, conspire with. Give them like your good time. But the one big key thing, and this is really true, vaginal atrophy is a thing. And it's, you just stop getting estrogen. And so that means use sex toys a lot, starting if you're not with a sexual partner, well, even if you are, and it's
like
not
insertion sex toys,
and do not use just clitoral stimulation, but insertion sex toys. And don't be afraid of estrol, which is a HRT that you use, comes in suppositories, and then do it. It will prolong your sex life. It will make you feel great, but use it or lose it is really not, it's not just a phrase. It's very real.
Yeah.
And so that's the one thing that we don't talk about enough at all. So like really like have that in your life.
Vaginal atrophy. I know when something like when you have an arm atrophy, for example, it like kind of curls up, right? Does your vagina go inside
your
of you
labia,
even more?
Your labia majora basically disappears.
Really?
And your vagina itself just atrophies and becomes smaller and smaller.
Oh, so it gets tinier.
It gets smaller and smaller
so
to the point where like,
where'd it
I'll
go?
just be real. I like your audience people. Like now when I go to the gyno, I have to use, it's called a virginal speculum.
Whoa, I didn't even think that was a thing.
It's a thing.
Oh my God, you're so tight.
And so tight. But it's like, but virginal speculum, think about that. So think about forcing young people to carry pregnancies when they've never even been able to have anything in their vagina. It's like
Jesus
a mess.
Christ.
Yeah. And so so it's a mess. But
Wow.
so there's things like that. So, if you are tending to your vagina with toys and using them inside of you, that's really, really helpful. And then also like just reevaluate like as you get older and like you get tired and like the way that your sleep patterns are going to be different and all that stuff, like the more you can honor and shift the things you still love and doing them in the times of the day where you're thriving, like do that. They're literally opening up like dance clubs for women my age and you're just like home by like 9.
Sounds great.
And it's amazing.
It's so funny because I like don't wake up until like I still have like the night thing on. I'm very tired no matter what I do. Like in the daytime, I'm tired, and then when it gets like nighttime, I'm like time to party. Like when the sun goes away, I wake up, and there's nothing I can.
You're a vampire.
I've been doing so much research. Like how can I undo this? This is not conducive to how the world works. But I get a lot done when everyone else is sleeping.
I mean, that happens for a lot of people. For me, it's like I stopped doing comedy clubs and I just do theaters now, one show a night. Like I don't want to do 5 nights and do 2 shows on a Friday. I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
Because you don't have to.
You don't have to.
How do I make this work?
You do whatever you want.
Work for my lifestyle as it evolves.
That's
as
exactly right.
What time of day I'm the best thinker in evolves.
Yeah.
As all of that. Like you can cater your life to yourself in a way that makes it way better.
Well, and you also start becoming more focused on, for me anyway, I've always love fashion. I've always been a fashion person, but I'm much more about style than I am about what's
hot.
What's hot, because what's hot might not look good on me.
Yeah.
Also, your boobs do get huge and like they become like this weird like set of like irritating things.
Oh yeah.
So that's like a thing that I don't know what
Your
to
boobs
tell you
got
about
bigger?
that. Huge.
Really?
Yeah.
Fuck?
Oh my God, huge.
They grew?
They grew. I
They're
don't know
so
why.
for you, Corinne.
Well, I was like, I kind of like that I have as small boobs as I
know.
age.
I want a
think
boob
it's
reduction. I can't
nice.
take it. It's just irritating.
Yeah.
No one needs it. But yeah, I mean, it's just like we shouldn't be looking at it and also you become very much in your own. I mean, I'm sure you've seen the woman on Instagram, the I Don't Care Club. She's so funny. Do you know her?
No.
Oh my God. Find the I Don't Care Club lady on Instagram.
I don't care club.
Yeah.
Okay.
She literally does reports for perimenopausal, menopausal, and postmenopausal women about we just don't give a fuck anymore. And she just reads the list of shit we don't give a fuck every day. It's like, here's the minutes for today. And she's got like an airplane thing on a pillow on her neck and 75 glasses in her head. It's great.
So funny.
Yeah.
Not caring as you get older, the less fucks about the dumb shit, right?
Yeah. Well, the male
really
gaze.
Beautiful.
You know, the male gaze is becomes less and less, and you really do prioritize your own power and your own needs and your own joy. And then you realize, how come I didn't do this earlier?
Yeah.
But you really can be really happy.
Yeah.
And also, like, just make sure that you are living a life that's full of multi-generational, multi-ethnic people to just bring you good information and new information. You know, it's like, I don't feel like I'm out of it. I feel like I hear and listen and learn from all of the people in my life who are in different stages of life and what they're experiencing. And I'm learning from it. And I think it's awesome. And I'm like, that's never for me. God bless you. And it's great.
Yeah,
you know,
it's great.
Your own relevance is really what keeps, I think, people isolated and feeling you aren't. And that's a choice. Relevance is a choice.
Ugh. God damn, Liz, you're incredible. And if any of our listeners want to support Abortion Access Project, whether it's Abortion Access Front, what's the actual URL? We'll put it in the description.
Please. It's aafront.org.
aafront.org.
And then follow us on social at Abortion Front. And then honestly, listen to our pod, because our podcast, Feminist Buzzkills, is one of those things. It's like, if you love Jessica Valenti, you'll love us too, because it's like, think of us as this show, but we're talking about abortion all the time. Moji, my partner, is just incredible. The conversations. We had E. Jean Carroll on.
I saw that you had her, and I was like, wow.
Last week we had E. Jean Carroll on and talk about a mic drop moment. She was a great interview, and just talking about everything that went through. Her book is incredible. Highly recommend. But so we talked to abortion providers, activists, comedians. Yeah, I'm gonna have both of you guys on, because
we would love that.
I would love to have you on, because it's honestly, the full spectrum of who we are and what we're doing is important, and centering some of the just things that are happening to us around our access to all reproductive health rights and justice issues. You just don't know. So it kind of feels like, are we okay?
Right.
It's like, no.
Yeah.
No.
So people who want to support the cause can go to the website and donate money, donate their time, donate their services. But also people that are in need of information can go to your website.
Yeah, we will guide you anywhere. We have a volunteer service. We will guide you. We'll teach you. You can literally pop us an email, and somebody on our team will get back to you and do it. Yeah,
That's
and
incredible.
If you're in the Twin Cities, I do a whole year in review wrap up every year at New Year's Eve at the Parkway Theater.
Oh, cool.
Which is crazy. That's a crazy
fun.
time with
That sounds so good.
graphics and video, and it's a whole multimedia shit show.
Oh my God.
Yeah, the Winstead files.
I'm so glad you exist, Liz. Thank you so much.
I'm so glad to come and talk to you. It's been way too long.
Yes.
What a shame.
Yeah.
But we'll change that in
Yes,
2026.
Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks, y'all.
This has been Guys We Fucked, the anti-slut shaming podcast. We'll talk to you next Friday. Bye.